Hi, and welcome to 647 Six Stories for 7 a.m. Because, well, there's a famine of truth in our land, and this is your quick news fix. And the truth starts now. All right, take one. Donald Trump, he's going after some Dems. He's going to prosecute them. Let's see what he says on this truther from Truth Social. I'm looking at a large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying, probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang, not one note, and left the stage to a booing and angry audience and got paid $11 million. Doesn't seem right. $3 million for expenses to Oprah, $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor Al Sharpton, a total lightweight, a total loser getting paid $600,000, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break out. Kamala and all of those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The Orange Roughie, a very bad boy, and we love it. All right, take two. Trump's massive EU trade deal. Trump and EU Commission President Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid agreed that the EU will pay a 15% tariff on most European goods, including cars. The Sea Witch also agreed to purchasing $750 billion worth of U.S. energy and to invest $600 billion worth of investments in the U.S. above their current level of investment. It's all good. August 1, the EU tariff would have been 30%. So good job, Ursula. Great job, Orange Roughie. Trump also added that the EU will be buying hundreds of billions worth of military equipment. Ursula said, it's a good deal. It's a huge deal with tough negotiations, but she would not call him Daddy. Okay, can't have everything. Take three. How to snatch 6,600 gold bars and not get caught. A bunch of amateur thieves stole 6,600 gold bars from Pearson International Airport in Toronto on April 17th, 2023. Never found it. Never found them. Air Canada Flight 881 left Zurich with the gold valued at $15 million. Today it's worth over $40 million. The gold was in a plain bubble-wrap crate. Listen up, John. Sent from Valcambi, a Swiss precious metals refinery, for deliveries to TD Bank in Toronto by Brinks. And there was $1.9 million in cash heading to the Vancouver Bullion and Currency Exchange. The plane landed at 3:56 p.m., no problem. The gold and cash were taken to the Air Canada's cargo terminal for collection by Brinks that evening. So far, so good. But then, 3 hours before Brinks arrived, a forklift picked up the stash and put it in an unmarked white box truck, which was never seen again. There were 2 Air Canada employees on the inside, part of the deal. One was a computer geek who changed the docs for the shipment and forged a false pickup document. And the other was a forklift driver in the 1.2 million square foot Air Canada warehouse. It took all of 3 minutes for that truck to pull up, pick up the gold, and be gone. And be gone is what they did. Everything vanished. No clue. I don't know. Doesn't pass the smell test. All right. Number 4, Klaus. You will own nothing and you will love it. Schwab is toast. The 87-year-old founder of the World Economic Forum was the king of the Brotherhood of Benevolent Billionaires for 55 years. 2 days in last April, he had his Tulsi moment. Receipts got dropped confirming gross misuse of funds and gross behavior with female employees. Those would be women for Ketanji Brown. All right. He was found to have rigged the data on Brexit to make it look like a failure. He pushed his crotch into the face of a female staffer. He spent $50 million of World Economic Forum money on a luxury villa and spent 836,000 pounds on non-business expenses. And of that group were quite a few special massages. Let's put it that way. Sir Klaus received a knighthood in 2006. And the Wall Street Journal said that the World Economic Forum had a work culture that was hostile to blacks. Women were let go when they became pregnant. This guy's a jerk. Everyone knew he was a jerk. He looked like a central casting villain. And he started out his career as an academic. So, total sucker. So the World Economic Forum generates $500 million a year. The board, including Al Gore and Yo-Yo Ma, asked for an independent audit of the World Economic Forum books. Sir Klaus got up on his steed and threatened a lawsuit, and the board said, do it. Sir Klaus resigned 48 hours later. Once the king of the globalists, he says he now feels deceived and will not be available for further investigations. Let's hope this becomes a trend with these "we're better than you are" clowns. All right? That's take 4. Here's take 5. I wanted to do a review on Pete Hegseth because there's so much nasty incoming from the media on him. He is a merciless target for them. And I tried to find anything and I couldn't. I had to go to the Department of Defense News. And so I'm going to read this review by Todd Lopez of the DOD News. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, doing a great job being trashed by the media. Those are my words because I could not find a non-lefty commentary on Pete. But it's really important to understand how bad they want to take Pete out and how good a job he's doing. And just by the way, he has 100% backing from Donald Trump. This says, even before arriving at the Pentagon on January 27, 2025, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth made clear his vision for reshaping the U.S. military. Just a day after being confirmed by the Senate, the new secretary released a message to the force outlining his plans, charged by President Donald J. Trump to deliver peace through strength. Hegseth said he'd accomplished that by restoring the warrior ethos, rebuilding the military, and reestablishing deterrence. And he has done all of that. Over the last 100 days, the Defense Department, under Hegseth's direction, has engaged in a substantial number of engagements, visits, policy changes to build a military capable of deterring conflict, defending the nation, and, if needed, fighting and winning wars. And this was written before the Iran affair. At the top of Hegseth's message to the force was a promise to restore the warrior ethos and trust in the military. Pete said, "We are American warriors. We will defend our country. Our standards will be high, uncompromising, and clear. The strength of our military is our unity and our shared purpose." In mid-March, Hegseth ordered a rapid force-wide review of military standards related to physical fitness, body composition, and grooming. High standards are what made the United States military the greatest fighting force on the planet, Hegseth said. We are made stronger and more disciplined with high, uncompromising, and clear standards. The Secretary directed the military departments to compile their current standards and evaluate how they had changed over the last decade, including their impact, all for the worse. We must remain vigilant in maintaining the standards that enable the men and women of our military to protect the American people and our homeland as the world's most lethal and effective fighting force, Hegseth said. This review will illuminate how the department has maintained the level of standards required over the recent past and the trajectory of any change in those standards. The department also instructed the military services to identify combat arms and non-combat arms occupations and develop mission-focused, sex-neutral physical fitness standards for combat roles. Everybody got that? As the nature of warfare evolves and the demands on our service members grow more complex, it is imperative that we assess and refine the physical fitness standards that enable our readiness and lethality, Hegseth said. All entry-level and sustained physical fitness requirements within combat arms positions must be sex-neutral, based solely on the operational demands of the occupation and the readiness needed to confront any adversary. His next section was restoring the trust in the force. To build trust, the department addressed the effects of the since rescinded 2021 COVID-19 vaccine mandate following direction from the president. Over 500 days, nearly 8,000 active duty and reserve service members were involuntarily separated for refusing to meet the mandates, while others voluntarily left. Under Hegseth, those troops are being invited back to service. Pete said, "We're doing everything we can, as quickly as we can, to reinstate those who were affected by that vaccine policy. We want anyone impacted by that vaccine mandate back into the military, people of conscience, warriors of conscience, back in our formations. Some previously discharged service members will be offered back pay and reinstated rank. The department will also remove adverse actions taken solely due to vaccine refusal." Hegseth also announced a shift away from what he called divisive initiatives, such as official commemorations of immutable characteristics. Instead, he urged a renewed focus on shared values. Installations, units, and offices are encouraged to celebrate the valor and success of military heroes of all races, genders, and backgrounds as we restore our warrior culture and ethos. We are proud of our warriors and their history, but we will focus on the character of their service instead of their immutable characteristics. To support this, the Secretary established the Restoring America's Fighting Force Task Force, aimed at eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion policies and replacing them with merit-based, colorblind initiatives. Led by Jules W. Hurst III, performing the duties of Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, the task force began visiting installations and service academies in February. This is about the Department of Defense getting back to merit-based, color-blind policies. Our responsibility is to make sure that we take the best people and put them in positions of responsibility to lead America's sons and daughters. The changes have also impacted recruitment and retention. In February 2025, all 5 military services met their recruiting goals, which were higher than a year ago, and 4 exceeded them beyond 2024 performance. During an April 30th, 2025 cabinet meeting, Hegseth described the growth as a recruiting renaissance. It's been decades since we've seen this kind of recruiting in the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force, he said. We can barely absorb the volume, and retention is also up. Men and women in the military don't want to get out. Among the notable returnees was 2009 Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer, who rejoined the Marine Corps Reserve in April after being out of the military for 15 years. Hegseth personally administered Meyer's oath of enlistment. That was a lot for you to sit through, but it's important because you're going to see Hegseth continually being attacked, all by neocon money and big war machine money. And he is not a big war machine guy, and they hate his guts and want to take him out. We need to back him up every time he gets attacked. He's a great person doing a great job. All right, take 6. Dems lowest in 35 years, Wall Street Journal poll. 63% of voters have negative view of the Dems. This is the highest negative for Dems since 1990. For Dems to be successful in the November 2026 midterms, they have to convince the voters that they can do a better job than Trump. Rasmussen shows 48% of voters approve of Trump's job performance, while 51% disapprove. They get this by calling 300 people who are likely voters each night. More voters currently identify as Republicans than Democrats. And the Republican National Committee has reached the half-year point with $80 million in their coffers for the midterms. Dems have only $15 million. I think closing U.S. aid must have cramped their style. Great. All right. And a 6th bonus. The Scream Club for Dems. It's in Chicago, and it's a thing. Dems in Chicago with Trump derangement syndrome have formed a club, the Scream Club. They meet on a long dock jutting out into Lake Michigan. They all line up shoulder to shoulder, and at the prompt, they all scream continuously at the lake until they can't scream anymore. Many cry, some refresh their vocal cords with water, and then they do it again. And you know what? This is a great Dem alternative to burning cities and attacking police and ICE agent. It hurts nobody, and they feel a sense of fellowship. Is this a further indication of the reprobate mind? Most definitely. But I fully support the Scream Club. And I'm offering an alternative for everyone, screamers or not, who are dealing with anxiety. And it's at our website, which is getting better and better each day. This is trustandobey.chuckfrank.com. Go to the tab that says Text God, and then you'll see what to do from there. And I think it may be a more positive alternative than Scream Club. But you take a look at it, and then you know what to do. You have to like us. You have to share us. You have to make comments. You have to do a fantastic kickoff Monday to the work week. We want that ball deep and to the light side, okay? We want to put everyone on their heels and let them know we're warriors. We're American warriors. And we're going to do a fantastic job. But most of all, what propels this whole thing is that the Lord Almighty will bless you going into this work week. So God bless you and thank you very much. That's it.
Look at me, take a picture, it'll last longer. The mirror on the wall say I'm getting stronger. And the mirror don't lie. If you want the truth, don't close your eyes.